The colleague diary is accessed from the ribbon within the View tab. Before we look at the diary, it is worth noting some of the key settings that are available within the Personal Settings area. Personal Settings is accessed from the File menu under Settings. Within Personal Settings, you will see a whole section on Diary Settings. There are a few default values that can be set here, but we're going to focus on these 4 options. Auto Open Diary on Startup, which will ensure when you log in that you are presented with your diary for the day. Auto Increase Priority on Bulk Carryover, which will increment the priorities of unactioned tasks by 1 as they are carried forward into today. Check for unactioned items on Startup will find any outstanding task from previous dates in the diary and give you the option to carry these over to today's date. And Add All Entries to Outlook. This setting will enable the push of diary entries created in Colleague over to the Outlook calendar. Please be aware that this is a one-way push. It does not go both ways. Reminders and events created directly in the Outlook calendar will not copy over to Colleague. The Outlook calendar will be populated on the creation of a diary entry and also if you update an existing diary entry. If you choose to update an entry in Colleague, it will create a new calendar entry in Outlook. You will need to delete the old one in Outlook. We recommend that all these options are ticked. The diary is laid out to show 3 key entry types. Top left will show diary entries with a date and a time. Bottom left will show diary entries with a date only. Bottom right will show diary entries that have neither a date nor a time. Top right, you will have access to the calendar and you can select dates and view entries for that date. The below buttons will do the following. Create Entry will create a new diary entry in the Colleague diary. Update Entry will allow you to update an existing diary entry. Action Entry will mark the diary entry as completed. Delete Entry will delete your diary entry. Purge will delete actioned tasks from a specific date or all actioned tasks. Carry Over will move selected diary entries to another date in the diary. Carry Over All will move all unactioned diary entries to another specified date in the diary. Looking at filtering options. View allows you to see the diary entries based on daily, weekly or monthly. User allows you to select and view other users' diaries. Include Actioned will include completed diary entries in your list of tasks. You can right-click on any of the diary sections at any time to create a diary entry. Diary entries can be created from within the diary, but generally this will be done through workflow in Colleague. On creating a history record, for example, you will be asked whether you wish to create a diary entry to go along with it. When creating a diary record, you will see the following fields. 1. Diary date. This will be the date for the diary entry. 2. Time. The time of the diary entry. 3. Type. The type of action that will be required. 4. Priority. There are 4 types of priority and an action status. 5. Regarding, with an option to select from a drop-down list on the nature of the entry or type in manually a summary description of the task. 6. Diary contact details. By linking the entry to a candidate, company or contact record, it will take you to that record if you double click on the diary entry. And 7, additional, for any extra free text notes that you feel will be necessary. Colleague supports further functionality when creating a diary record. To access these additional options, you need to click on the Extend button. This area gives users the ability to create diary entries for other users, durations for the tasks, and to set alarm reminders. When creating entries for other users, this can be done at a group level or per user. Double-clicking on the user group will update the group members list. The list of users who you will create diary entries for are called target users. Within the group members list, you will need to double-click on the user records to add them to target users. When you create diary entries for other users, you can choose to either create a single diary entry which is linked to all the target users, or you can create individual entries for each user's diary by ticking the Create User Entries feature. One advantage to not using the Create User Entries feature is that only the originator of the diary entry can then update it, and when it is updated, it will affect all user entries. Setting a duration on a diary entry will create multiple copies of the diary entry for every day between the created date of the entry and the end date. You can then action each entry for each day. Setting an alarm to a diary entry is done by entering an interval number. What this number then relates to can be set to be measured in minutes, hours, days, weeks, or months. Then, when using the diary, you will receive a pop-up message to remind you to deliver a task. Also, if you set an alarm, it will populate the reminder feature in the Outlook calendar. It is recommended that you maintain a full audit trail of your activity within the diary. To do so will require that you leave actioned items behind against the dates that they were completed. However, it can sometimes be necessary to tidy up a diary by deleting all actioned tasks or, in some cases, deleting all actioned tasks against a particular date. When you click Purge, it will bring up a calendar requesting that you select a date. If you select a date, it will ask if you wish to delete actioned entries that are only on the selected date. If you do not select a date by pressing Cancel, it will give you the option to delete all actioned entries. The final point on the diary is that when in a candidate, company, or contact record, it is possible to right-click and view all the diary entries which relate to that record. We have now covered the diary feature in Colleague. The next section will be on the sales process.